All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where it is expected that Showtime Boxing will be releasing its schedule. Some people said before the end of this week. As of right now, it is Thursday, and one of the fights that are due to be announced is the Errol Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman. Spoke with a friend of mine and who is an expert in the field of boxing for certain, and says, look, there's a big risk for Errol Spence Jr. in this fight, and he needs to be very, very careful with Keith Thurman, thinking that Keith Thurman is not just as difficult to fight, if not more so for him, than Terence Crawford. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division talking about a fight that should actually be made and hopefully will be announced this week, if not, hopefully, within the next week or so. And that is the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith "one-time" Thurman. And some warnings that have gone out to Errol Spence Jr. about that fight, and the likelihood that he may run into something he didn't expect if he's believing what everyone else says about Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman, and specifically Keith Thurman being a lesser fighter and a less dangerous fighter for him to fight. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so very much for your continued support. Really does mean a lot that you guys continue to support the channel, especially to the people in videos like this that support in the super thanks, like my guy Matty. Yo, man, you are a regular. Thank you so much to the super thanks crew of the video. And also thank you to everybody that supports over there on the live streams. But let's get into this real fast. Again, we all know that we were waiting for a big fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford for the undisputed championship of the world. Unfortunately, what was, I think it was Kobe Bryant that said it, that he was going to be taking his talents to the NBA. Unfortunately, Terence Crawford decided to take his talents to BLK Prime, which is the alternative of the D League, and not go pro. But it is what it is. We moved on, and now it appears as if Errol Spence Jr. is going to be fighting Keith Thurman at 154 pounds in order to satisfy, strangely enough, a mandatory that was made for him at 147 pounds. A whole bunch of people threw hissy fits about that for reasons I don't know. All it looks like to me is that Errol Spence Jr. is keeping his word and saying, look, man, I want to move up to 154 pounds. 147 is not fun nor easy for me to make anymore. So, hey, man, this fight didn't happen. I'm going to 154. The WBC that wanted the fight, because at the end of the day, they want fights to be made. They've got belts and sanctioning. They've got belts and rankings in every weight division, obviously, plus an extra one that they'll make up every once in a while, like Bridger weight. So to them, as long as they get a sanctioned fight, there's sanctioning fees there for them. Doesn't make much difference to them whether it's at 147 or 154, especially when it is a big fight like this, and the money is even better for them, right? But anyway, Errol Spence Jr. is going to fight Keith Thurman more than likely. And you have a lot of people out there that are just thinking that this somehow is a letdown. Not somehow. It is a letdown in expectations, but is a letdown from the fight that we wanted to see with Terence Crawford. However, I was speaking with a friend of mine, professional boxer, said, look, man, here is a big problem. Here is a big potential problem for Errol Spence Jr. Styles make fights. Fighters don't make fights. And also people are living off of all this resume stuff and accolade stuff and don't realize about Keith Thurman that Keith Thurman is a legitimate challenge to Errol Spence Jr. for a bunch of reasons. One, he's very experienced. He's very athletic. He has a lot of power. And on top of it, he is very hungry. On top of that, he's a very hungry fighter that has something to prove and knows that this is really his last shot at getting back to where he is. And a desperate corner dog is a very dangerous one. And despite the idea that Keith Thurman is somehow somebody that is not that is not up to the task. This guy's like, no, man, Keith Thurman is up to the task. He is a lot stronger mentally than people give him credit for. And then he also said why he favors Errol Spence Jr. to win the fight. He's like, you also have to wonder about the letdown for Errol Spence, because Errol Spence himself said that he doesn't like tune-ups, right? And the reason that Errol said he doesn't like tune-ups is that he says that he won't train as hard. He said he'll train hard, but he will not train as hard for somebody that he doesn't really consider to be a threat as he would for somebody that, he really thinks is a big challenge for him. And so the question is, what does Errol really view Keith Thurman as? Is Errol Spence Jr. believe in the press clippings, right? Where you really feel like, first of all, he's going to mop up Keith Thurman some years ago. There's everybody out there is talking about how Keith Thurman can't take body shots and how he got hurt early in his career with a body shot. And then later on, he got hurt with a body shot against Josito Lopez. He got hurt with a body shot against Manny Pacquiao. And that is basically going to be his kryptonite against when he fights Errol Spence Jr., that he won't be able to stand up to that body attack. But, like we said, fighters that are very hungry, fighters that, especially when that something is coming, may very well surprise you in their ability to adapt and to deal with things that they know are coming. Errol Spence Jr. is not going to surprise you with a body shot. He's going to pummel you with body shots over the course of the fight. At the same time, though, Keith Thurman is somebody that has very big power in both of his hands, provided that his hands are healthy, right? Also, he talked about the idea, like when you compare Terence Crawford to Keith Thurman, and how really there's not that big a difference between those guys as far as the quality of people that they fought and the problems that they've had in the ring, where you've had Keith Thurman hurt with body shots. You've had Terence Crawford hurt by smaller men, right? So you have in situations with these guys that, that there's not as big a gap as, your average person may think, because of the way that Terence Crawford has been moved, at lightweight at 140 pounds, while Keith Thurman pretty much for his whole career has been at 147 pounds. That, if you look at who Keith Thurman is actually beaten, Keith Thurman has beaten more difficult fighters than Terence Crawford has fought. And you better hope, at least if Errol Spence Jr. is, just feeling his oats too much, that, one-time Thurman ain't really one-time Thurman, right? And then talked about the fact that when Errol's going to that body, you do see Errol get caught here and there, with one shot, from guys when he's in the body really throwing at him, right? Got caught by Yordenis Ugas. He's gotten caught by Sean Porter, right? Shows a very good chin, but at the same time, Keith Thurman is somebody that really does have the power to hold you up. Now, of course, the problem with Keith is that Keith is a bit of a front runner, and and Errol Spence Jr.'s beatings that he puts on people are usually backloaded. So even though he starts fast, they're backloaded. So obviously Errol will be the favorite in it, but it's not as big a gap as between the level of competition for Keith Thurman and for Errol and Terence Crawford for Errol. But anyway, we'll see. Hopefully we get to see the fight. I think this is definitely a fight that I've wanted to see for a long time, and I'm excited to see. Glad to know Showtime's not going out of business, so we'll be able to get more good fights like this out of that network, and hopefully more now that it appears as if their budget could have actually gotten bigger off of all of this. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section, and with that, I'm out. Deuces.